All right, so we're live with another edition of the Superstar Guest Spotlight. And this is a space where superstars come together to share their light, their magic, and gifts to awaken and inspire you. Today's guest is Dante Rose Herin. So,
Hi,
welcome. I'm so glad you could be here.
I'm so happy to be here, and I hope that I'm able to make this a wonderful, magical experience.
Yeah, anything with crystals. Gonna be magical.
Yeah.
So a little bit about Dante. So with an eye for detail, a passion for helping others, and an admiration of natural beauty, Karmic Wiz was born. Today, Dante Rose Heron takes pride in her ability to help others by intuitively selecting crystals which meet her clients' wants and needs. So she knows a lot about selecting the crystals that are the right ones for you to help you with that. So if you have questions around that and anything about crystals that comes to your mind, you can type in a question in the comments and she'll answer it a little later on. So stay tuned for that too. So it's exciting. And we're gonna, yeah. And this magical wheel of crystals, we're immersing ourselves in this high vibration possibilities that they bring to us. So, Dante, tell us a little bit about your work as you describe it. How a little bit about how you got into doing what you do now.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk a bit more about that. So, as long as I can remember, I've always loved rocks and the earth. And as soon as I learned about the crystals, which I saw in movies and TV, had physical counterparts and a bit of truth behind all the fantasy, then I really became engaged in learning more about how they can be applied in our everyday life and how they can help the everyday person. So I first began really enjoying crystal jewelry, but soon I began moving to display pieces and candle holders, bringing the crystals into my home and surroundings, not only just where I go in the world.
Mhm. So what you mentioned movies and seeing that was there any in particular that on your part that you came across early on that triggered you?
Well, there is a specific memory I have of watching the Dark Crystal movie, the original one, and I was really captivated by how this one stone seemed to hold so much power and influence over the people in its auric field, if you want to
Mm,
call it, even if they weren't physically looking at the crystal or in its direct presence. And I thought that was really powerful and interesting.
yeah, movies have a lot of messages. Are you getting a feedback from me?
Yes. Hmm.
That it's it's okay?
Yeah,
It okay,
I think
all right.
so.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what was the moment, like the more on that moment that made you come up with the idea to have a selection of crystals, and what inspired you to get into that?
Mhm. I believe that what inspired me most was seeing the interchange within myself and wanting to bring that change to other people, where I would sometimes recognize that my friends could use help in certain areas of their lives, but they couldn't figure out how to get past sometimes inner blockages. And through my own experience with meditation and yoga, crystals became a key element in the spiritual side of things. Um, I believe that in every being, we need to cultivate that side of us to reach full happiness. And more than anything, I really love making people happy. So I believe that once I came to a sense of inner peace and contentment within myself, I felt ready to help others find the same. And it just blossomed and grew.
Mhm. That so that path to inner peace, what did it entail for you? You said meditation. Uh, Was there any other tools that you came across to help you, or people?
Hmm. I would definitely say that there's someone on YouTube who goes by Rolf Smart at Infinite Waters, and he started introducing to me at first the healing applications of crystals, where I once was simply drawn to them for the sparkly aesthetic purposes. He was definitely someone who shifted my perspective into what else can be done with them and how to further utilize them.
Nice. So you had that link there showing people coming up. I'm sure there are others too,
That's
other
true.
people.
Yeah, there is a lot that comes to mind right now. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for the crystal community. It itself is filled with very warm, welcoming souls and people.
So do you use crystals to heal or to help heal?
I've conducted a few crystal healing sessions in person where the individual will lie down and I will place a crystal grid along the energy meridians and wherever else I feel called to place a piece of earth. But the majority of my work is assembling kits of crystals to send for people to use at home across the globe.
So are these customized for the
They usually are. We do have a select number of basic chakra stones, which anybody can purchase. And I also offer some oracle readings, which can help us tune in on what type of crystals would be best for your situation.
nice. I imagine there's so much to explore when you start
Absolutely.
working with crystals.
Yes, I'm still learning every day, and I hope that that continues for a very long time. I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
So how was your learning process in finding out about or learning about crystals
Mhm.
in depth? Did you need any training, or did you do it intuitively?
I would say that it definitely started out with me intuitively finding resources online, a lot of YouTube videos, and various articles. It took a couple years for me to get a hold of a couple books and more concrete things to study. And I've seen many different crystal healing courses, which I would love to take sometime in the future. But I do feel blessed to have taken a crystal healing course, which was offered by my community college this past April. And I do believe that my crystal healing work has been going on for many years. However, up until this past April, did I receive the confirmation that what I was doing was helping and actually worth my time, if you will.
Right. So you got through the actual training
Yeah,
feedback that of what you were already doing up to this point. A
that's right.
reflection. That's really
And
nice. So
I
you
do
came.
believe I do believe that anyone can perform crystal healing on themselves and with others as long as they're able to tap in and listen to their intuition.
Okay. And so the service that you offer right now, you said that you make custom kits for people. Um, it's, and you intuitively select for them what they need and then send that off.
That is correct. Yeah. hmm
So someone could now ask you, for instance, what crystal is best for me at this time, and you'll be able to help them.
I would certainly do my best. And from the response I've received from customers, sometimes they'll order one thing and I'll throw in a gift just because I have a feeling they might need that gift. And they'll reply saying, "This is amazing. It's exactly what I needed. How did you know?" And it's just about the feelings that I receive and acting upon them accordingly.
Nice. So in a way, you're doing a reading with the crystals,
Yeah, you could definitely say that. Yeah,
and then going a step further in supplying what is needed.
that's right.
It's
Yeah.
really cool. So
And I do try to meet customers' wants if they prefer, a crystal sphere over a tower or something they can keep in their pocket all day long. I do not try to just throw random crystals. I love talking with my customers about what they like and love.
yeah, it has to be functional
Yeah.
because if you don't use it, then if you can't use it well in a day, then it doesn't make much sense.
hmm
Every day. So the topic today was, in fact, that it was crystal healing in everyday life, and how we can use crystals day to day. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So do you have some tips to share?
I do. Yeah, I think I have a couple things which might be able to help some of our viewers, and you definitely don't need a large crystal collection to reap some of the benefits that are available. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about are pocket rocks, which I believe is one of the cheapest and easiest ways to use crystals. And that just means that you'll have something small, uh, about this size maybe. It could be larger or bigger, but as long as you can hold it in your hand and keep it in your pocket all day without it hurting or being uncomfortable, then anytime you're feeling stressed, it's easy to just take it out and have a moment to connect and ground. Depending on what crystal you choose as your pocket rock, Some can be more uplifting or grounding, and it really depends on the person what you would want to use for your day. Also, orgonite is something I wanted to mention, which is a resin of different crystals and metals, which
Mhm.
act in a similar way to influence our energy and help heal our bodies. And this is an amazing way to get the benefits of multiple crystals at one time in a small package.
Nice. I know it's used for the effects of like radiation, like
That's right.
reducing that. Is there any other? So it's an overall balance in effect of energy. That's what it
Yeah, I
does.
would
It.
say, yeah, these orgonite in specific are extra powerful at blocking EMF, although crystals definitely do their own part and they help us as well. This orgonite will help to repair our DNA on a cellular level, from my understanding, whereas the crystals will kind of just block out what we don't want to get.
So it's an extra step.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. I mean, we do need that these days with being
absolutely.
bombarded with all of these, radiation
Yeah,
sources
you're
emitting.
right. And it's definitely a big concern for me personally. They've just released 5G in our city, and it's nothing crazy has happened yet, thank goodness. But I just feel that my phone's working a little too hard or it's a little too intense. And the mineral shungite is wonderful. Also, if you can get a bracelet that's good of shungite, they sell stickers on Amazon for your phone that are shungite infused.
Mhm. Yeah, there's so many tools that we can use, right?
Yes, yes.
And
The
that's
earth
what,
can heal. I'm so grateful for it.
yeah. And you are like like a channel of getting this information out to people to remind people of the tools in crystals that we have that we can use to help balance ourselves and so many different functions,
You're so right. Absolutely. Yes.
and each crystal is so special, right?
They truly are. Even the same kind can look entirely different if it's from different places on the planet.
Ah,
The chemical composition can be identical, and I just love how crystals can be unique like every person.
uh, so you would know that working with them so closely. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That from different places, they would be different because it's like a living a living presence.
Yes.
You don't really think about it like that because they interact with you.
Absolutely. And crystals, I believe, are living themselves, living beings. I know that a lot of people will disagree. However, they grow just like we do. They can change and evolve to their environment. Um, they can heal themselves, but I know that's not the topic of our discussion.
Well, if you'd like to go into it, by all means.
I don't have too much to say. I would encourage our viewers to research for themselves if they think crystals are alive or not. There's some interesting information about it.
Interesting that they will come upon when they do that research. I guess
Mhm.
it's also your, how you see things, what you believe, and sometimes you need a lot of evidence to convince you if you don't believe in it.
Mhm. You're
So
right. Mhm.
yeah. So
Personally, I didn't think that every rock had a energy at first, but I will admit that I've been a bit brainwashed.
from all of the material, everything you've experienced.
Absolutely, yes.
So is there a special crystal that, like for instance, say for the energies of now, that can help people in general now? Would you be able to tap into something like that? Like the,
Hmm,
how to, or, you know, because of all of the turbulence that we're feeling in
yes.
the
Yeah.
world.
I definitely I have a couple things that come to mind immediately. Amethyst came to mind. It's a very calming and relaxing stone which brings us to connect with our inner self, and I believe that can provide a lot of guidance and confidence for people who are feeling unsure and perhaps overwhelmed by what's going on in the world. But also, selenite, I believe, would be a great stone for anybody right now because it works to expel any negative energy, and it can cleanse the energy of crystals around it. Selenite is so pure in its nature energetically that it never needs to be cleansed how a lot of other crystals do. If you carry it along with you and it's picking up the negative energy of the day, it'll stick along with the crystal, whereas selenite doesn't allow for anything. It simply transmutes into positive energy.
Yeah, that's really handy because things, over time, somebody might forget this crystal is has been there also gathering
Yeah.
negative energy, and then that can what can happen if you have a stone that's gathered negative energy and you're using it without cleansing.
I wouldn't say that anything bad would happen to you, like you won't get cursed or have bad luck by carrying it with you, but the benefits will be harder to, uh, it'll just have a more difficult time reaching you through all the negative sludge that's kind of built up, and you'll still get a little bit of the benefits. However, it could just be amplified so much more.
Hmm. And that makes sense. It's like there's a block in the communication between you and the stone.
Absolutely. It'd be kind of like a cotton ball on top of the phone receiver, and you're trying to have a conversation. It's just muffled and not clear.
Right. And so every day, what is something that like if you're using a crystal, what you can do to make sure that it's cleared and there's a clear communication between you and your stone, the stone that you're working with.
Mhm. Well, I wish I could give some kind of test that we could do with our stones to see, oh, this one is ready for cleansing and not this one yet. But I would say, as a general rule of thumb, that the ones we are drawn to most often and carry with us the most would need more frequent cleansing. And that's all based on when we feel is the right time. I believe that some crystals, even if we're carrying them with us all day, will be all right without a cleansing for a couple months, and other ones are more prone to holding on to those negative energies. But there's a lot of great ways that we can cleanse our crystals, which do not always need us to spend more money by buying sage or Palo Santo, or singing bowls to clear the energy. We can also take them to a natural body of water and simply give them a little rinse and connect them back with the frequency of Mother Earth, or to let them do a bit of sunbathing for an hour or two is also a wonderful way to cleanse out the negative and bring in all the positive.
I had a nice image of someone going to the beach to cleanse themselves, and then the crystals are cleansing too on the sand.
Yes, a word of caution. One of my customers had a great giant, I mean, this quartz point was very big. It was the size of half my arm, and they had a feeling to take it with them hiking, and let it rest in a river for a little bit. And I guess when they came back, it was gone. And I don't know if it was carried away and claimed by the earth again, or if another person wanted it, but I would encourage everyone to just hold on to them tightly.
Yeah, because when you leave it to the elements, right? You bring in other other factors.
Yeah, you really do.
I know that they have, like when you don't need them, they go missing, and those things could happen.
That can
Like,
happen. Yes,
or when, and
absolutely.
it could be a little bit, it's hard to get into, but it's like flowing with being able to flow with the, like what needs to be happening right now. What's the best thing for both of you?
Absolutely. I recently lost one of my favorite crystals. It was so beautiful, and I just have a sense in me that it moved to where it was needed, and its journey with me was completed. Although I'll really miss just seeing it's shiny every day. It's where it needs to be, and that's helped me to surrender and release, like you were talking about.
Yeah, it's a big lesson to learn when you work with those, the natural supports like the minerals, crystals, the earth element. It's a lot, it's a lot of flow to flowing with the the state, nature, and cycles of time. So
Yeah.
we have a question.
Oh, yay! Let's hear it.
And so we did have a question from Amanda, which was how to cleanse a crystal, but you did answer that. But her other question was, what crystal do you recommend for protection?
One of my favorite crystals for protection is black tourmaline and obsidian. They're both very dark stones, and I believe they help extremely well with protecting against psychic attacks. Um, Many years ago, I walked into a crystal store, and I definitely wasn't in a good place in my life at that time. But the woman working there said, "You need to have this crystal for psychic protection." And I was kind of like, I'm not too sure about that. But I did take the crystal home with me and I gave it a try, and I noticed a change in my mental attitude where I felt there was a stronger fire within me, and I just felt more confident in going toward whatever I had ahead of me that day with a sense of extra spiritual protection. So,
Nice. And which one was that again?
black tourmaline.
Okay, black tourmaline. So the is it that blacker or darker stones that tend to offer that sort of protective?
I would say so, yeah. I would say that the black and gray are the most protective, and even darker shades of red and brown can help ground us, which often gives a sense of security, which may be what we're looking for when we seek protection. So I would recommend both very dark black crystals as well as deep reds and browns like jasper and agates. There's many different ones to see.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, colors. Crystals reflect. There's so many colors. So is it that if you feel drawn more to, like say how people are intuitively drawn to choose clothes of a certain color, can that also work with crystals? Like, like maybe you're intuitively drawn to this color, and the crystal of that color might be something that might consider working with.
Yes, absolutely. I One of my favorite colors is purple, and one of my favorite crystals is amethyst, which is purple. But sometimes, just out of the blue, I'll feel drawn to uh, a different kind of crystal than I usually go for, and it's not always because of the color, but what I feel. And I think that both loving the color of a crystal and loving the feeling of the energy of a crystal are ways of it letting us know that it may have something to teach us and offer us. And while they can't speak with their voices or anything, they can do their best to look shiny and sparkly to grab our attention.
Yeah, something that when you go to look at a selection of crystals and one keeps calling out to you, that's it speaking to you.
Yep,
And you keep
absolutely.
coming back to it. You may look at everything else and then come back to it
Yeah,
still.
and sometimes it's a tiny pebble when, there's big cathedrals next to you that are taller than you are. That happens to me all the time. And it's really an incredible experience just to have a surrounding of crystals and to be able to feel them in person. I recommend that to everyone who's getting into the beginning of their crystal journey.
To make sure that you're looking at all. all different sizes and shapes and
Yeah,
forms.
absolutely.
Yeah, we can really get carried away with the idea, like the bigger one or the one that seems fancier might, is a better one, but it's not necessarily that for you. It's what's best for you, right? At that time.
You're so right. Absolutely. And it's different for everyone. It's truly such a a wide range of experience that one can have with crystals, depending on how you approach them and what you are open to receive from them. I mean, some people, even after working years with them, still don't feel anything, which is perfectly fine and normal in its own way. But I will say that personally, my fingers start to tingle, and sometimes it goes up into my arms. Some people might feel a heat or a coldness, a magnet, and that's another reason why I recommend going into a crystal shop, or if there's gem shows going on in your area, it gives you a better chance to connect and see what you like best.
Right, when there's so many of them, right? That you have more variety, and you wouldn't really, because there's so many. There's always some, and they have these interesting names to
Yeah, some of those names are real tongue twisters.
it. So in your store, you have the variety that you have is quite a big selection for people to, like, people could come there and choose themselves.
Yeah, I do my best to offer a very wide array and selection to everybody. Um, just down the street from where I reside is three wholesale warehouses which have thousands and thousands of crystals, and sometimes it can be hard for me to go in there and just pick a couple things that someone might need. So I also strongly encourage people that if they don't find something on my website which calls out to them, that I can always go to the warehouse and see what they have, which might be what you're looking for. That's always fun.
That's amazing that you're so close by to so many crystals.
It really is. Yeah. And the Denver Gem Show is coming this weekend. So there's going to be more crystals than I'm used to. A very exciting time.
Nice. So do you if you had the gem shows, you would physically um go there and exhibit your crystals and
Yeah. So it technically started today. Tomorrow will be my first day visiting the gem show, and every single day that it's in town, I try to go there and scope things out, see what's available that I can bring into my shop, as well as make any business connections with other shop owners that are around and in town. But this is a time when I try to strongly encourage to my customers that what our warehouse has year round, anytime available, the Gem Show has about 100 times more selection, and
wow.
only for about a week and a half. So this
Mm.
is one of the best times to find the rarities and things that are hard to come by, which is super exciting.
I bet you can learn so much too just by being there. Learn some new crystals.
You're right. Yes.
It's never, never the end to that learning.
Truly, and they're discovering new mines across the globe all the time. So there's constantly new varieties of uh, clear quartz and rose quartz, which people have never seen before. And this weekend and the following days, I'm really excited to see what new has come up in the gem show world the past few months.
Nice. So there's also, in addition to that knowledge, some active revelations of, from what people are finding now. They're
Absolutely, yes.
the actual people, like the crystal the miners, and
Yeah,
what they're coming up with. That's so exciting.
yeah, it's incredible. I've been looking forward to this next few days for the past few months.
Well, Amanda has another question. She says, "How do you know if a crystal is authentic?" You know that some even online is hard sometimes because some people have not the real stuff, and it may be hard to tell.
It's very hard to tell, and once again, it makes me say that I wish there was a test we could give our crystals, or I would say that it really comes down to who you are buying and interacting with. If your seller is able to provide information such as where it was mined or when it was polished, if it is a polished piece, and something else like if if there's a certain aspect of your crystal which sets it apart from a very similar variety, which you'd be able to find out through a little bit of research, I would encourage you and anyone to really spend some time talking with your crystal dealers to make sure they know what they're talking about and where they're getting their products from. As far as being in person with the gems and telling what is authentic and not, uh, I do understand that stone is cold to the touch. It is pretty much always going to be a cooler temperature than our skin tone, unless it's been hanging out in the sunshine or swimming in a jacuzzi. So I would recommend doing a skin test, and if it feels uh, warm or the same temperature as your body, then it might be resin or some kind of ceramic. And then I would definitely question my seller just about where they got their product.
So it does help to have that in-person connection with it.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
a tricky topic, honestly.
yeah. It's because it's really hard from a picture, right? Unless you're super, and sometimes the picture is not really what you're getting.
Yeah,
May not be to assess that. So I guess the research that you said will be helpful to get more information on like where they're getting it from and their things from, and ask them more questions, right?
absolutely. Knowledge is power.
And crystals actually, right? They hold. they store information,
Yeah,
as
crystals
you
are
said.
power.
Yeah, so they are power. Crystals equal knowledge equal power.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, absolutely. One of my favorite myths and legends surrounding crystals are about Lemurian quartz, which the tale goes that the ancient civilization of Lemuria was coming to a crisis and it was falling quite literally. Their infrastructure, and long story short, the people were dying. So they took all of their wisdom and knowledge and imbued it into these Lemurian crystals to preserve it and to leave for humanity to unlock and realize later on.
Uh, yeah, as you said that, I got chills. Just like, wow, it's so powerful. But it's like we also it's waiting on the right time for us to be ready to accept it too. Such a an amazing way to store information and knowledge. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope that our own society will someday develop technology so that we could, maybe someday this crystal could have pictures of my family vacation on it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of spiritual knowledge to get there.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
They can try with technology, but they have to be spiritually at that place to receive it too, because also things could be misused, as in past civilizations.
True. Very true. I have faith in humanity and the capabilities for good that we all can achieve.
Yeah, and if we embody that, right, that's what we can bring forward to help spark that in the world, that change.
Yeah.
That's the best that we can do.
Yes. Absolutely. You're so right. So I do have a couple other ways I wanted to mention connecting and using our crystals in our daily life. Um, I mentioned a bit earlier about how crystal jewelry was a big part of my personal journey in using them for spiritual benefits. And right now, I'm wearing a rose quartz pendant, which
Mhm.
is sitting right above my heart chakra. And this rose quartz is great for promoting unconditional love and acceptance of love and promoting happiness and well-being. And I would like to encourage our viewers at home to look in their jewelry collection now to see if they already have some crystals which may be waiting to be recognized, and that could include just saying, oh, hey, I can wear this black tourmaline when I'm wanting a little bit of protection and things like that. But a lot of us may not realize that what we're looking for is already with us, and we just need to realize it.
Yeah, that's a good point. We tend to think we need to go out and get something else, or but we may actually have it right under our nose, not seeing it.
Absolutely. And sometimes, that old birthday gift, which we weren't super excited about receiving, can take on a whole new light when you're in a dark place or even in a really good, happy place. Um, it's, it's something I would recommend to everyone to do tonight.
To go check out your jewelry and see what's what's hiding there. It's
Yeah,
been waiting for you.
absolutely. And another one of my favorite ways to use crystals is for massage. And there's two different ways which I wanted to mention. For traditional massage of our back and legs and arms, our shoulders can get very tense and store a lot of blocked energy,
Mhm.
negative emotions. So, what I'm holding right now is a wand which has been smoothed on one side so that we can really dig into wherever might need a little extra love. You know, sometimes our hands can only do so much, and using crystals is a great way to incorporate healing spiritually and physically.
So you use it as a tool for massage.
Yes, yes. And depending on if you are experiencing, like for example, if you're having a lot of stress and you know that's causing the pain in your shoulders, you can look for a crystal which specifically helps to relax and release stress to better help that area. Um, or even if you're looking to increase your fertility, you could use a special type of stone to give massages in the abdomen region and around your hips, stimulating
Oh,
blood flow, getting the energy moving.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but I never heard of that. It's actually it's something new for me too.
Yeah, I would definitely try to, tune in to what your body has been going through recently. And there's most definitely a crystal out there somewhere which can help in some way.
Of the how many I don't know millions.
More than we could ever count, I'm sure. The earth is making new ones as we speak.
And that's a nice thing to to think that this life always is an example of ongoing creation,
Yeah,
and new ones are always coming up to be seen, and there's so much you can explore about that, like, where we are at as a society, if it reflects the type of crystals that come up. Maybe you never know where that can take us.
yeah, absolutely. And I think as our science community becomes more open to integrating the implications or understandings of energy and crystals, that we'll see a big shift in the way crystals are used. Already today, quartz crystals are used in our clocks to help regulate the timekeeping. However, we may soon find that crystals are in drinking water. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Just more commonplace things that, we might not touch our clock every day, but we'll certainly touch on our laptops every day. And to have them coated with some kind of shungite or EMF blocking material, I think would be hugely beneficial.
Yeah, that's a whole business concept somebody could take and, you know, go further with that, explore, because we really need it at this time.
Yeah, definitely. And I would be a customer to that person.
Yeah, once they're credit, like genuine. Yeah, because even with that, how to make sure, how to know. I guess you have to also be in tune with yourself. The more that you're in tune with your energy, the more you can tell the effects too of crystals and what is this doing for you. Keeping track of that, learning your own energy, right? As you grow.
Yes, absolutely. And knowing oneself is very important. If you don't know where you're starting from and where you want to go, then your path will be very muddled and not clear. Uh,
Mhm.
but anytime that I'm noticing a certain area of my life is not doing as well as it once was or how I think it could be, um, that's an opportunity that I use to connect with myself and say, what am I missing or what do I feel that I need right now? And sometimes that could be support or it could be anything really, but it definitely is important and key, crucial to know what you're like on a day-to-day basis, than to see what the crystals do for you from there on.
Yeah, so you grow together with the crystal.
Yeah,
It's like a little buddy
yeah,
with you.
they're all my buddies,
Best friends.
the best of friends. Yes, I love them all.
It's just like animals don't really speak, but they have a certain way of communicating. But when you're tuned in to the crystal, you can almost hear them. It's just like you might almost hear your pets.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. That sometimes I have to remind myself that, everyone doesn't have the same experience that I do sometimes. And even if someone is also sensitive to the energy, it can be interpreted entirely differently simply because their journey is entirely different than mine.
Right. Yeah, everybody's unique path, right? And where they're coming from, how they're seeing things, how they will interact with something maybe different from another person. Yeah, it's so many layers to look at, right? And you can go really in depth into that, into communicating with crystals. And I can imagine you talking about this more and sharing more about how to work with crystals, how to tap into their energies. But we only have so much time today, and I'm really grateful to have you on, sharing
Thank
so much of
you.
you. Yeah, and bringing the gift of the remembrance of this tool that we have, and connections to the earth that we can use when things get out of whack. We
Yeah.
can pull on. these it's in always the support system, right? If you don't have so many, and of course, like you know, I just do it like the crystal grids, and you can go so much into into this type of support you get from them.
Right. There's so many different ways to use our crystal friends, and they have so much to offer us. It's truly infinite the ways that we can learn about them and use them. So I encourage everyone to do their own research and find what works for them. There's no right or wrong way to use a crystal as long as you're not hitting yourself in the head with it.
That's great advice.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been so nice talking with you today.
Yeah, we had a great hour of unveiling the magic of crystals. So, if you want to share something, a special offer you have with the
Yeah.
listeners.
I would like to extend a 20% off code for my shop, Karmic Wares on Etsy. The shop code is live20, and you can enter live20 at checkout to get 20% off anything in my shop. This offer is good until the gem show ends on the 16th, so 11 days.
Oh, that's a good bit of time. And is it all caps? Live 20
Yes, it is
LIVE.
exactly LIVE20.
Okay. You can't miss it now.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for that special offer. I hope you get the reception from that. That people take advantage of this offer and your karmic ways site. I'm very interested of how you came up with that name, the karmic.
well, quite honestly, it just sort of came to me. I had a general intention that I wanted to improve the lives of others and to give without necessarily asking for something in return. And I believe that builds a lot of positive karma and the wares part of it, I could have chosen just karmic crystals or karmic jewelry, but I wanted to keep it open to allow for spiritual tools such as sage and singing bowls, things that go alongside with my crystal work.
That makes sense. No
Yeah,
one, no one gets left out in in that name. No one. So it's the goal and then what you're offering.
exactly. Yes.
Nice. Thanks for explaining that and for being so generous with all your wisdom and knowledge. And thanks for whoever showed up and who's gonna benefit after from this special training
Yeah.
and yeah, with Dante. So do check her out, Dante Rose Heron, and and tell us your links.
Uh, at Karmic Wares on Twitter, Karmic Wares Facebook page, Instagram, at Karmic Wares. We hold free giveaways on our Instagram quite regularly. And we're just starting to get on YouTube, so you can find us there at Dante Herin, I believe. I'm really looking forward to seeing how karmic wares will grow in the future, and I would love for all of our watchers tonight to join us on that journey of evolution.
Yeah, that's a powerful journey.
Yeah,
And when you have crystals along the way to help you, it's even more powerful, right?
I would say so, yes.
Increase your vibration and just help you as supportive friends, as tools and allies from nature to stay connected. So with that, we're gonna end today. Unfortunately, it's the end. but but I know Dante has a lot to share with you, so you can check out her links, her various social media platform links, and check out that special offer. It's only available for a limited time, so do look her up. She has so much to share and to help inspire you on your journey to awaken your gifts. So until next time, it's bye from me and Dante.
Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.